Hello, and today we'll begin playing String Zero. So this story's been out for, I think, 2 years, 3 years, I guess, now. It's been out for a little while now, about a couple of years. And it takes place in, I guess, a modern or like a futuristic, a futuristic setting. Um, I don't know. I mean, I've seen snippets of this online, and I don't entirely understand what the story's about. I watched this before, but not entirely. But I watched a good portions of this before. But maybe in this playthrough I'll get to understand more. But anyway, let's go ahead and start the story now. After a life of endless black, we are finally arrived. From Operator Esso's lost recordings by the Wanderer, Varania. Landing day was the first and last time I stared into the hazy glare of Erlang's planet side. From high orbit, we saw the curve of her cloudy atmosphere brushed against the void, a thin, airy line separating our future from everything our parents had hoped to leave behind. We were so close then, you and I, whose son with the hope of new beginnings. One hand for my sister, the other for your shoulder, while the rest of our team cheered. I watched you squeeze that tiny little leaf around your neck so hard you almost bled. It was an impression, in metal, of the very first sample our colony drones had retrieved, proof of habitability, proof that your father had made the right choice of leaving Earth, proof of your vision of shattering our human limitations. I still feel I still remember how fresh it smelled, how alive, and how terrible it smelled when it burned. Then you died. In that final moment, as the world unraveled, as the physical frayed into fantasy, untethered, as spiraling desire, forever hungry, unmade us. Leaping into the vortex, you died. You died. One last message bubbled up from Satya's runaway executions. A leaf buoyed from the abyss of fathomless neon logic waking on my display. You'll leave. Why you check on lunch then? Smiling, as if I wasn't still trying to stitch reality back together. As if I wasn't still scrambling for the right connection. The one that would patch the hole in us, make us real again. Smiling as if I had found enough time. I hated it. That symbol of your vision. Of all the mistakes you've done. Of all the mistakes you made. Because it meant somehow you had stopped them. Somehow you had brought me here. Somehow you had saved us. And even in death, you were going to make sure I knew it. I hated you. I loved you too, but I hated you more. I grabbed that leaf by its fresh, stupid little face and threw it back into the currents. Why did you listen? It spun to a wilder, of familiar cyberspace, a starless cyber sea. A maelstrom. I spun, we alone. We spun until I saw something. I promise, the universe, existence, epiphany strings in a tapestry. I reached for it, but too many strings reached back, twisting, knotting. Why didn't any of you listen? Still, I hang from as many threads as years have passed. The ruined towers of our sense, frozen city reached up towards a leaden sky, hazy and impenetrable. A thousand fingers crowding a lonely hand, they claw at the clouds as for as many answers but find none. Trapped between fat and firmament, shore and sky, they rust yet remain ever decaying monuments to each of our failures. Genius, ambition, vision, and promise. Like any good story, Security is a compelling fiction. From personal reflections, the Azarthorn design by the wanderer Owania. So chapter 1. I've made the mistake of looking down. The white knuckle, I white knuckled the rung of this decrepit emergency ladder. My boots struggled to find purchase against veins of ice, threatening me with a nauseating drop into centuries of rubble littering the alley below. I closed my eyes and tried to catch my breath in sharp, misty gasps, ragged from exertion. The wind howls between the tall buildings and through the jazzed up insulation of my jacket. I haven't been climbing for long, but it doesn't feel that way. Time here is meaningless. Peeking open one eye, I very empathetically look out and not down, tracing the skyline and the far silhouettes of crumbling skyscrapers. To squint through, I squint through the thermal protection of my holographic mask, as if by still will I can see past the curtain of heavy clouds. It's been years since I've glimpsed a blue horizon or a starry night for more than a moment. Today hasn't changed that. I wonder. It can't always, it can't have always been this way. Why would anyone choose to live in this cold? What were the ancient builders trying to accomplish? And yet here I am. So I guess people find their reasons. I make a mental note to check my loom about it later. For now, I push aside my poor sense of local history and pull up, groaning at the ache in my arms. Times like this are when I recall that old Wayan nursery thing, a territory to the east known for its storytelling. Spinning, words like a thread, weave them together and spell your dread. Breathing slowly, I close my eyes again to focus on what the rhyme suggests and not the 100 or so metal rungs I have left. Endless white and gray above, endless white and gray below. I could climb the tallest building and just see clouds and snow. A desolate expanse of bleaks in muted gloom, unknowable horizons shrouded by the broom. A calming exercise, though it might be, there's no replacement for skill. I sigh and cough a little as my voice croaks. No one says, Broom, Ravi. You just sound pretentious. An immigrant from Wire. Obvious. I bet Dad would still like it, though. He does enjoy a good abuse of language. Still, I frown. That thought was a mistake. Dad, my gloved hands squeezed the metal rungs. I could feel heat and bile rise from my gut in spite of the frigid atmosphere. For a few sweet moments I had forgotten I was mad. Why do you have to be such an ass? I hissed at him as if he were here. The words, louder than I intended, echoed between buildings as if accusing me in turn. I had come out here to cool off, but it would apparently take more than a snowy afternoon of daredevil climbing. The echoing just reminds me how mad I am at myself. We couldn't even keep it to ourselves this time. You're seriously joining up with Kavir, just like that? I suppose you can flaunt your talents without consequence then, without getting caught. You do remember what that would mean. It's not the sort of thing one forgets. Capture, conscription, experimentation, execution. I'm not an idiot, Dad. Sorry, Erwin. Now, not dead. Ravi's father, an immigrant from Hawaiian. Well, if that's the case, you know I've never been comfortable with Dad. I insist you start calling me Erwin. We can do away with childish sentimentality, since you're obviously a proper adult and have everything under control. Rarely, Erwin's bodyguard and my occasional instructor simply stood there, more disapproving than usual. And Evan Fox, exile and warrior. I didn't think that was possible, but just hurt more. I set my jaw. Whatever they think, I'm 22. I've been a proper adult for years. So what do they expect? I have to start pushing boundaries at some point. And who even says shit like that? Don't call me Dad anymore because I think you're being irresponsible. I handle myself. Ugh. I like to think I'm not one to hang on to anger, but it keeps whirling in my gut. I guess no amount of exertion or bitter chill will be keeping my head cool today. I'm just tired of feeling city. But like my voice against the buildings, Evan's words echo. You know, this city isn't just frozen, it's stuck in time. Much like you are. Perhaps you're right. It is time for you to grow up and make some mistakes. Maybe then you'll figure out whatever it is you really want, what's really important. Fire burns in my core. Being tossed out would have been easier. Did I have a more righteous reason for being upset? Instead, I had just stormed out of our home like the child he accused me of being, which made me all the more furious. And yet, what else was I supposed to do? The man was being a sanctimonious ass after years of telling me, you have to stay. Ravi, it's too dangerous, Ravi. You can't be caught using your powers. Ravi, he dares to leave. Staying would have implied I agreed, leaving to suggest I'm reckless. So, yeah, stuck. All I ever want is a chance to explore, to see the things and peoples and places in his stories. Maybe wanting that is reckless, sure. But which is it, Aaron? Stay and be safe by just listening to tales of your making, or take risks and make tales of my own? I feel like he's making me choose between security and autonomy. I suddenly closed my eyes. I want both. Cold powder drifts down to speckle my face as metal rattles from a landing some distance above me. The wet and cold soothe my thoughts. I open my eyes. Wow, Ravi, you must really want to lose if you keep stopping for breathers. The familiar snow tiger leans over an edge. He has the colors of this place, all blues and whites and grays, and stripes and spots. Mercifully, he's a lot more cheerful. Shut up, Kavir. I don't see you moving. A snow tiger roaring near, a professional show-off. I sputter, shaking my head clear of the powder. Doing so makes the latter shudder and groan. I grip tighter and force myself to calm down. Kavir doesn't deserve my anger, and I don't deserve to fall to my death. I also not the one losing. I got the time to recline and enjoy the view. His powerful body spoons the edge of the landing, with his tail flinging over the side, the most irresponsible thing he could do. The whole platform noisily protests his considerable weight. But hey, you good? That ladder looks pretty dicey. I wouldn't have picked it. Do you hear that? That's you weighing about as much as a boat. Worry about yourself. Rude. I puff and pull. If I don't hurry, you might bring the whole landing down on my head. I swear if I die by fat tiger ass. Besides, I thought you liked all this muscle. I don't have to look to know that he's flexing. Given he doesn't have to wear as many layers, it probably stands out impressively too. I'd like to not fall, however, so I focus on climbing. I really shouldn't have picked this ladder. Can't flatter you, basic climber. I'm pretty sure you got enough mouth to both breathe and flatter me. Wow. Now who's being rude? I'm still panting. I should have finished the climb before reflecting on my paternal pain in the ass. Hey, you challenged me. And it was bold. I respect callous disregard for personal safety. That's how I know you've got the grit to not fall off this ladder. I could hear him stretching, taunting, teasing. He swats the ladder with his tail, and the whole thing shakes. I could feel the vibration in my wrist. Holy cow, Kavir! Language grumbling. But as I recall, the terms were, and I quote, if you win, I'll tell you in increasingly colorful ways how attractive I think you are. My arms ache. I'm buzzing with adrenaline. My fingers are freezing. Gloves be damned. This sucks. I'm not a grumbling. Persuasion at its finest. Well, my mistake, but fine. Be that way. If you don't want this here fine company, I'll be waiting at the top, ready for your admiration. Don't make me wait too long. Pant, pant, pant. You haven't won yet. I can't hear you over the sound of winning. His voice echoes over the next floor, fucking his acrobatic mastery. I laugh in spite of myself and shake the remaining snow from my head. I hadn't made that bet in good faith. I knew I'd have to cheat. Kavir didn't need his already mountainous ego stroked. Besides, winning would help me feel better. I get to taunt him for a change. I wait for him to get a little further ahead in our sight and then take a breath. I think back recalling that Aaron's training exercises from my youth. I exhale. I try to clear my mind, but it's still chaotic. There's no, there's not just letting harsh words. There's no just letting harsh words spill away like water, as his father saying. My feelings are sore. Attempting concentration in this frame of mind isn't wise. And yet here I am, about to throw caution to the wind, just like Aaron said I would. Everything reduces to two dueling thoughts. I'm mad. I want nothing more to do with him. I'm sad because I do. Reconciling them right now feels impossible. It's a choice mired in a mix of different competing anxieties, sinking into stagnation or drowning in the unknown. I feel alone on an island of misery, stuck. But there was a time I didn't feel this way. I remember our camping trips long before we came to the city. When I close my eyes, I can still hear Aaron's steady voice, smell the rain forest on warm summer air, and feel the flickering heat of our campfire. These were quieter times before the arguments when his words helped me feel calm, supported, and safe. Times where he taught me to shape my own power, make my own choices. Times when I felt he loved me without question. I focus on that. Still the mind. Slow the breath. Feel your surroundings. I feel the metal beneath my hands, the cold of the hissing air, the taste of frost. Expand your perceptions. I picture the ladder's rungs. I hear the creaking of the bolts. I know there's metal beams above and below, crumbling stone and mortar. There was a bridge once. I saw where it was attached. Behind me, there's another building close, but too far to jump. I saw crumbled stairs inside leading up. Good, Riley. But more. Remember, your perception is your reality. If this isn't the reality you want, change it. Enter the story time. I take one last breath and then open my eyes. Reality in color set. I'm still here, on the ladder, but I can perceive both the ladder as it is and as it was. Electric lights glare, neon flashes on signs and billboards, the ghosts of the people who live here march below and above me. Everything has a digital aura, as if it all might suddenly dissolve into pixels and fade away. I feel like a voyeur to the past, peering into something I shouldn't, something long gone, but it feels real. I smell Zos urine in the alley, bread baking in a restaurant nearby. I can hear snippets of conversation, too many conversations. Music, vehicles, siren sounds, smells, senses. Everything, everywhere, all at once. It's so loud, overwhelming. Fuck, I can't do this. I'm too uneven. I lose focus. I'm losing focus. This was a mistake. I'm going to black out. Why, Ravi? Come back, Ravi. Focus only on the threads you need. Right. Thanks, Dad. Ladder, bread, stairs. I let everything else fade. Now spin them together. This is your story. Take control. I see the breads both broken and whole. The ladder was secure. Rafi could climb it easily. I take another breath and pull myself to the next rung, and then the next. Oxygen fills my lungs. It's less of a struggle than before. I huff as I pull myself to the landing, making it a point not to look down. I'll open a door that is and isn't there, turn a corner, and dodge a few insubstantial figures. The bridge hovers before me, flickering between being and unbeing. The bridge was whole, wherever could cross it. The flickering stops. I step into open air, and my foot thuds on the bridge's translucent floor. I quickly cross it. I'm always nervous just how real these stories will be, or how long they might last. The other building's stairwell is on the left. I drag my gloved fingers against a wall that is both whole and nothing but skeletal with bar. Then I dash in. The stairs were all there, solid. They held when Ravi climbed them. I take step after step and my lungs burn. I probably should have said something about having better lung capacity this time too. But maintaining my focus was troublesome enough. Remember, you are not safe in story time. Be focused and specific, then leave. Uneasiness. I feel it very suddenly. I've never experienced anything bad in story time, but never felt Dad was lying. He lied about a lot of things, but there's always something lurking, watching. I simply assumed it was a ghost of the past, but I sprint the rest of the way up the stairs, tumbling against the door of the stairwell as I try to catch my breath. I have to hurry. I shoulder the door open, jogging to the nearby windows. No bridge here, but that's not really a problem. There was a second, higher bridge with open exits. A spectral neon bridge appears as if it has always been there, but my uneasiness increases. There's a difference between speaking something into being that once existed and creating something new. The latter feels like a ripple or an echo, a disturbance in the fabric of story time. My focus falters, like a light breeze whispering against my ear. The pressure begins to change. It filters into my thoughts like 1,000 pinpricks, and just as many voices, expectant, eager, urging me to do more, create more, hungry. I glance over my shoulder, past the drifting shadows of the long dead into a bright hallway that wasn't there before. Icicles hang before it like teeth. It feels different than the rest of story time. There's no digital aura. It feels real. Powder and dust glide across its floor in a respired rhythm. It breathes. Listen. Something reaches for me, slithering like a tongue. It disturbs the shadows as if they were smoke, straining and stretching to close the distance. It's cold. Colder than it should be. Which is when I realize I'm frozen too. Come here. No. Absolutely not. My heart pounds. My mind races. Yes, my mind. Distance in story time is more than just a matter of space. Thought is form. Ravi's too far. I see it again. I was cited like a mantra. Ravi's too far. Ravi's too far. It doesn't like that. The light gets brighter, and the sudden series of pops and crashes like ice on ice vibrates the room and my skull. I squeeze my eyes shut. The floor is shaking. Something slithers into my mind, hissing a word I can't quite focus. I open my eyes. The hallway looms over me with its icy teeth, yawning open to breathe me in. A terrified gasp catches in my throat. You are in control. I summon everything I can to scream past my terror. Ravi could not be caught. My body crackles with sudden energy. I immediately spin around, thundering across a new bridge, back to the first building. I've never run so fast. Almost there. I tried to stop myself, but lose control, tripping over my own feet and tumbling forward. I slide across the rough cement floor, thump against a wall, a heap of insulated leather and glowing thermal protection. But my voice still works. The bridge Ravi crossed never existed, and then the bridge is gone. The monstrous hallway is gone. All I hear are the muted sounds of the city. I'm panting. My heart is pounding. I close my eyes. Get a grip, Robbie. I open my eyes. No hungry hallway. I push myself up against the wall, catching my breath. I'm in a large room. The remains of furniture are scattered around, probably an old lounge. There are stairs leading up to the roof behind a ruined door. Good. I can do the rest on my own. Time to go. I take one final breath and close my eyes, thinking of the wind, the desolation, the ruins. Of Kavir, his handsome face and expansive ego, his kindness for cheering me up on a bad day. Conclude the story. Come home, Robbie. I will, Dad. I will. I open my eyes and the story ends. I'm back. Back, but not okay. I'm still winded and flushed with adrenaline. What just happened? I've never been threatened in story time before. I palm rub my face. The holographic thermal barrier simmers as my hand passes through it. I need to calm down and get my set together. Even if it means losing to Kavir. I cross my legs to just be and close my eyes, attempting to meditate against the wall. I briefly wonder if Dad might have any more Sage device, but dismissed the thought. My anxiety would just return to where it was. No, I need clarity, and Dad's usually the opposite of that. But there is someone else who can help. I take a breath and clear my mind. Pay attention, child. Ureli's Yachan accent is full of rolling R's and open vowels. Related to the capital city of Swadhazor. Please stop calling me Dad. You'll earn that right when you prove it's no longer true. Defend yourself. Lifting her practice baton, Ureli moves with grace and precision. She strikes high. I lift my baton to block. She knees me in the stomach and pushes me back. Sloppy. She circles me like a predator, noting every stray movement, every uneven breath. She strikes again. I block, barely dodging a follow-up swipe. You're reacting, not thinking. And you were relentless. Ow. I rub my stomach. She lunges to sit. I sidestep and counterattack. She swats the attack aside easily. Better. But you're still missing the point of this lesson. You mean it isn't a test of how many bruises I can take? Too slow. I yelp, rubbing the spot east. I'm not training you to be a warrior. I'm training you to think like one. She points to my eyes. Observe. Then to my head. Consider. Then to my hands. Execute. She then gestures over my entire body. A consistency of self allows for a unity of purpose. You sound like Dan. Because despite his abundant faults, your father understands the importance of being present. She lunges. This time I dodge out of range. Unfortunately for me, Ureli predicts the movement and rushes into my space, racking my wrist and forcing me to drop the baton. Briskly, she grabs my disarmed hand and locks it against my back. I hiss. You are not alone. She speaks evenly into my ear. I can feel her breath. Where are you? Where am I? I'm fucking trapped in a joint lock, Yuri. No. She tightens the lock. My arm buckles. I wince and fall to her knee. I struggle a little to try and lock the block and try to break the lock, which only results in further pain. Fuck. Because it is so simple, it eludes even the keenness of minds. If you already know the knife is sharp, then you were cut by it a long time ago. You're really reciting scripture to me now. I mean, you really reciting scripture to me right now? She annoys me. Do not become caught by the moment's struggle. If you choose to make it your home, then you will never leave. Her voice is low, cool, and smooth. I don't sense any anger or ego. She repeats herself. Where are you? Her calm stoicism is like an aura and focuses me as well. I take a breath and think I'm trapped, I'm caught, I'm stuck. Oh, I'm stuck, yes. But not physically. Well, yes, physically, but also in my head. Yes. So, because I believe I'm stuck, I am stuck. She loosens her grip slightly. The world is vast, and we are so small. We do not grow in size when our eyes are closed. If you open your eyes and the room is full, then when you close your eyes, the room is still full. This one I understand. I've got to get out of my head. Assume nothing. Focus on the present. Observe. Take a slow breath, relaxing my limbs to twist and break the joint lock. Just like she saw me many times before. Ureli nods. Now, how sharp is a knife? Consider. Not sharp enough. Execute. I'm startled by the sound of heavy paws landing in front of me, the blood briefly draining from my face. There you are, Ravi. Did I just see you walking across over there? Was that you yelling? The fuck? Shit. I I used to walk to push myself back up to my feet. Dad would say something like, never let people get too close, and conjure a story of the so absurd it must be true variety. Kavir and I are already way past the former, and I'm definitely not clever enough for the latter. Besides, I don't want to push Kavir away. You, what? Why aren't you telling me? I think back to Yui's lesson instead. I feel a loss of calm from the memory swallowing my fear as I observe Kavir's face. He seems confused, not worried, so he probably hasn't jumped to any threatening conclusions. That makes sense. Kavir's a pretty grounded guy, and I've always been the more anxious of the two of us. Except when I'm mad, I guess, as I stand on the top of a crumbling high-rise with no climbing gear. Maybe I am reactionary and irresponsible. Ow. Kavir interrupts my thoughts by thumping my head. Force the atmosphere to Ravi. Hey, sometime before I freeze. Alright, I came across some new jazz tech and just surprised myself a bit. Kavir groans. I knew it. You only challenged me to a race because you had some new gadget up your sleeve the whole time. I'm not fond of lying to Kavir, even if it was only a half lie. Because I do have a lot of new gadgets, just not on me, and not for this race. Which in hindsight would have been smart. I can't always rely on story time for emergencies, especially not with today's surprises. I was just a silver. As if I could beat you without some kind of an edge. Was it true? You're not gonna sell me or tell me anything about it, are you? Nope. I grinned brightly. Not yet, anyways. Sneaky shit. Fine. He lifts up his hands. I surrender. You win. What? Just like that? Hey, honestly, you do not. You beat me up here. And just a few steps shy of the top, I'll take the L. But just this time. Honest, huh? I fold my arms and look away for a moment. He gently knuckles me in the chest, stepping back into my vision. His big hand grasps my shoulder. Why the frown? Ain't winning what you wanted? He eyes the stairs leading to the building's roof. Come on. I'm not a complete idiot. I know you really just wanted someone to talk to. It's my turn to look upset. How uncharacteristically intuitive of you. The snow tiger shrugs his broad shoulders and switches his tail as he walks past me. The yellow sass he always keeps tied to it nearly flicks my nose. I can't let you hog all the surprises, grumbling. The bottom of the stairwell is dark. Kavir's tail bats me on the nose, and I grab it. I can barely make out his grinning face. Don't fall now. The stairs protest but hope. As we approach the top, darkness quickly gives way to light. The door to the roof has long since disintegrated, with the light pouring in so bright, even my hollow mask doesn't say quickly enough. For a moment, I mistake the wind for a voice. My breath catches in my throat. But there is no spooky hallway, just a roof and Kavir. I exhale, squinting as I join him. He slides an arm around my shoulders as I do. The ruined city of St. Leos is extensive. The ruined remains of a vast metropolis. Essentially circular, the tallest buildings crowd in the middle and shorten the further out one goes, eventually fading into endless snow whipped up into dunes. I've only seen the ocean a few times in my life, but this always feels similar. The occasional cluster of ruined buildings or islands can be seen far out amidst the white, surrounded by hoary, foggy waves frozen in time. At the very tips of the taller buildings, they hint at much more buried beneath powder and permafrost. So much more. An entire industry exists to explore it, provided one can get approval or not if one wishes to live dangerously. Well, more dangerously, Kavir refers the legal side of danger, at least when it comes to ruineering. Hence his business. Kavir's expeditions and enterprises stitched on the back of his shoulder harness as KENE. I'll never get used to this view. Even after living here all your life, what's it mean? Well, it's just white on white with a few embellishments. There's not that much to see. But there is. Don't go being a nearsighted city boy. It might just seem like endless snowfields, but the land here breathes. It changes. Between the winds and the snow, the jazz energy, and whatever other natural forces are at work, you'll never see the same landscape twice. Well, in a mechanical sense, I suppose that's true, since the dunes are always moving, but even so, it always looks pretty similar to me. Cold, frozen. It's just a lot of white. So am I. And you like me well enough. This guy. You're more blue than white. I didn't say I hated it. I know. But what about the beauty of it? It's just that everyone calls it the white, like it's some kind of phantom waiting to make it disappear. Isn't it, though? People vanish out there all the time. Kavir shakes his head. Past the city skyline, low clouds swirl along all of the visible horizon, white and gray blurring along an indistinct terminus. Barring the occasional building or rock, that subtle distinction in color is the only way of knowing where snowfield ends and sky begins. It strains my eyes. People vanish because they're unprepared. They don't expect that you can't tame a landscape like this. You're either at humble or humbled by it. Humble, huh? I elbow his side, but his hand finds my shoulder again as he looks down at me. I'm serious. Yeah, it's kind of freaking me out a little. He chuckles. Sorry, it's just something that's been on my mind, is all. But I don't mean to make this about me. We're up here for you. He squeezes my shoulder. It's okay, Fuzz. I can wait a little longer. What happened? He doesn't answer immediately. He sighs. Another ship's gone missing. The Midnight Star. I heard about it right before you called. The navigator is a good woman named Andely. We've done some jobs together. The navigator of the Midnight Star. I pat his head. You think this is related to that big storm a few days ago? Probably. I'm sorry. Were you close? Not personally, but that's not what this is about. Being a mountaineer is dangerous work, Ravi. You know, charting new locations and exploring who knows what. So all of us involved, sailors and adventurers, mechanics and the like, we all have a sort of professional understanding, even if we are competing for the same stake. Like a kind of family, I wouldn't go that far, but there's a certain amount of mutual respect. We'll listen to each other, because if we don't, people die out there. So what's the problem? Well, the reports all said normal overcast that day. The readouts all had the storm tracking north, right? Jazz Tech is pretty incredible stuff, but it doesn't always get the details right, especially when it comes to weather. Just considering we're working with tech that hundreds of years old, it's understandable. So what? You're saying this shouldn't have happened? It's not common to lose expeditions to bad reports, but it's not unheard of. More the problem more the problem is that I knew it was wrong. I felt it, and I told Andely to tell her captain too. Wait, back up. You felt it? Your tail have a built-in barometer or something now? That was that that what this sass is? I swatted it playfully. Kavir sighs and looks away. Even his tail droops. The captain didn't believe me either. Superstitious nonsense, he told Andely. Even with the understanding, there's a reason why you don't see many snow tigers around the docks. Folks don't put much stock in our feelings. Well, stall your claws, Fuzz. I didn't say I don't believe you or your entire people. I just need a little more than it felt wrong. I knew it because I could tell Quay, uh, Quay, Threat, Quay Thranto was upset about something. Quay Twin, Quay Twinto, the Snow Tiger's, the Snow Tiger's spiritual great grandmother. Quay Twinto, Quay Twinahu, Quay Twinit, Quay Twinto. He says, well, he takes a breath and pinches the bristles now. It's not something we talk a whole lot about outside of the clans. Okay, well, I don't know how helpful you expect me to be if it just sounds like you're making up words. I'm not from here, Kavir. I don't hold any weird prejudice against anyone. Prejudice that aren't deserved anyways. Kavir sighs again. People around here live by their tech, Ravi. They don't they don't got much room in their heads for a whole lot else. Being as you're a tech head too, I just thought you might feel kind of similar. This is turning into a deeper conversation than I expected. I look around for a place to sit near the building's edge that appears relatively stable. I eventually find a large metal beam that somehow doesn't seem to have damaged the floor too much when it fell. Good construction, I guess. I know we agreed a while back not to talk too deeply about our past, Kavir, but maybe that ought to change. Sit with me. I can feel Dad's disapproval in spirit, and I don't care. I sit gesturing for Kavir to join me. He does, returning his arm to my shoulders and pulling my bundled body into his side. I feel his warmth less than I like to. We simply sit there in quiet for a few moments, snuggling together against the cold. Spirituality is everywhere back home. Like you, I don't like to talk about it a whole lot. But Wayan is a place where the people say everything that has a story has a voice. If you annoy a familiar rock or tree or river by talking to it long and hard enough, it'll eventually talk back. I smile as I look out at the horizon, warm but bittersweet. And up in Vachas, the Swadwaza capital, they have a whole institution dedicated to philosophy. The capital city of Swadwaza. A rival country to the east, often referred to simply as the Swadwar. Temples and chanting and scriptures. Where do you think Urali gets it all? I reckon I knew that already. She's pretty on the nose about her faith. But you, Ravi, you never seem to take much stock in it. Well, I don't. Not really. But that doesn't mean there isn't some value to it. Bruises aside, I look back at him. The snow tiger hums. Do that long enough, and you're bound to get to know a place. He taps his head. So trust me when I say what folks call the white is K-Threto. Her name means something like the bright wind or the shining breath. She's in the land, the air, and the jazz. A certain bizarre hallway suddenly springs to mind. Oh, how bright. I lift a hand. No, never mind. What kind of spirit is he? She's not a spirit. He wells at his cheek. Well, not in the sense that she's metaphorical or nothing. She's energy. She's will. As in she's someone you can talk to? No. But when you're far out, deep in the jazz, you can feel her. We call her the great-grandmother. She has patterns and routines she likes, as well as moods you got to manage. Especially when her routines get all out of sorts, usually from outside interference. She gets real cranky then. Sounds like a spirit, Kavir. And that's what you felt a few days ago? Yeah, something was off. I could feel it in my spots and stripes. He reached for his tail with his free hand, gently thumbing at the yellow sass. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. Andilly trusted what I had to say, but the midnight captains didn't. It was bad form. Now word on the docks is he was being pressured by the company to investigate something, and if he messed up, they'd take the sip. So it probably wasn't personal, but even so, no chip is worth his crew. He shakes his head. It just feels so unnecessary. The great-grandmother don't care a bit about the company or its schedules. If he had just waited a day, things would be fine. He looks up at the sky. Well, I'm at least sorry about Andilly. It sounds like she was pressured to go too, even if she thought it was a bad idea. Well, I wouldn't count her out just yet. She's no snow tiger, but she's been navigating these lands for a long time. She understands the rules, respect the grandmother, the great grandmother, listen to her songs, and follow her lead when you dance. Do that, and she'll show you all kinds of wonders. Maybe even a safe harbor, too. I never took you for much of a dancer. Is that what you're doing whenever you're bouncing around these buildings or sailing around in power ships? Dancing to snow music? Maybe I am. Is that so hard to imagine? I just smile at him. Besides, ain't you really on all the time about, well, ain't you really on all the time about listening to the emptiness and looking beyond the surface of whatever piece of scripture she's married to today? This is exactly why she doesn't like you. Impossible. I just haven't turned on the charm yet. Besides, I respect her faith. It just sounds funny sometimes. Yeah, I don't think that goes to win her over. Besides, I think she's only capable of liking 2 or 3 people at a time. I could be the third. Sure. But you want to talk. And I made this all about me. So let me guess, Edwin, huh? I'm not really sure I need to vent about Daddy anymore, but it's probably for the best if Gavil's filled in. He doesn't want me calling him Daddy anymore. Well, you can always call me. Stop you right there. If you want to talk. You don't say. Gavil laughs, the deep sound echoing off the building and probably down into the streets below. I smile in spite of myself. It's a nice change of pace. Seriously though, what instigated this? I roll my eyes. You did. Huh? Oh. He chuckles. I guess the invitation to join the crew didn't go over so well then. Shockingly, no. Well, you expected there to be some pushback. I sighed. Maybe even that was too optimistic. Well, golly gut. Maybe even that was too optimistic. Well, golly gee, how dare you make attempts at independence? Okay, well, how did you really take it? Quietly. Okay, so that's like her natural state of being. Oh no. I flick my hands out towards the snowy taste. I flick my hand out towards the snowy taste. Like your great grandmother out there, her quiet has an entire spectrum of moods. So this was a disapproving sort of quiet then. Like I said, she doesn't like you. Well, even if she's not the biggest fan of my work, I know Aaron likes me. I laugh a bit bitterly. I'm sure he does, in the same way he pretends to like everyone. Whoa there, Gruntland. First of all, I'm impossible to dislike unless you're a beleaguered captain or a warrior nun made of salt and iron shavings. Second, you need to be more up. We're at one of the highest points in this city, and I need you to get with the ambience. What, frozen and windswept? And weren't you just Mr. Melancholy like 3 seconds ago? Couldn't say. Bad memory. Simply his way, the big snow tiger reaches over with his free hand to tap the earpiece control of my mask to translate material fading to neon pixels that crumble into nothing. My face is certainly very cold. The fur on his knuckle drags down and tickles the side of my cheek. But it's not enough. I urge him to cut my cheek instead, our fingers entangling. Vapor spills and swirls between us as he gently rests his forehead against mine. Tell me, what do you want? Ravi of the way up. I close my eyes. Now I can feel his warmth. I just want to be free, you know? Of more than Kavir could possibly know. To live my life without restrictions. He slides both arms around me and presses his face closer, his breath, his strength. Then be free. Simple as that, huh? Observe, consider. I exhale, shakily. Our faces are still close when I open my eyes and our gazes meet. Kavir's eyes have a golden brightness distinct from the chilly coloring of his fur. Your eyes are the color of the sun. Are they? I guess you know best, being from a land where the sun ain't constantly in bed. He slowly pulls away and looks up, shading his eyes. Maybe I'll see this weigh-in of yours someday. Maybe, though you probably overheat. I'd overheat anywhere that don't have constant snow. He drops his hand and thumps his chest. I'm all for a muscle and antifreeze. No room for brains, huh? Nah, I'll just take yours. Come here. He hooks his arm around my head, squeezing me between his bicep and his chest. I'm forced to breathe him in. He smells fresh and cool, just like Himmermint. Why do you smell like you rolled around in a mountain garden? Do you like it? It's an odd combination of distant and familiar. I associate so much this place with Kavir, but Himmermint fills the Swadasvar highlands. We pit. A rival country to the east, often referred to simply as the Swed, yeah. Oh, we do that. It's nice. I thought it might help you feel better. Maybe remind you of home. His fur tickles my nose. Sometimes the highland breezes would swirl so thickly with the scent it would get all caught up in my sinuses and make me sneeze. There was no escaping it from all the time we hid up there, Aaron, Ureli, and me, back before we fled to the west. How long was it, just the three of us? We were so messy and complicated, and I was so often angry or afraid. I remember running away again and again. I breathe in Kavir. I always hide in the mint fields. Yeah, I smile. Again and again they'd find me. That's where we always figure things out. I'm definitely going to sneeze. It does. I elbow Kavir in the stomach. He grunts but releases me with a little smirk. What, not in the mood today? The tickle fades and I thoughtfully rub my nose. Yuli's words still echo my mind. It's time to figure things out. Just bad timing. I should be getting back. Oh, I guess. I lean forward, his face fuzz is soft against my lips. Thank you. I tap my earpiece. The holographic barrier glows into being, immediately warming my face, but not more than Kavir's fur. And don't sound so glum. I'm still joining your crew. Yeah? His ears perk. Yeah, I just think I should follow up back home, you know? Make an attempt at preparing things a bit, if I need to. Whatever our disagreements and flaws, I obviously care too much about both Dad and Ureli to let things stay awkward forever. I probably overreacted. You never. Careful, pretty boy. And to think I could have had you saying that all afternoon. I groaned. In any case, I can get you home quickly enough. It just so happens I have a contact in the club tonight who you'll need to meet eventually anyways, so why not now? Oh? Who? What kind of contact? He shakes his head. I can't say. Then what? You want me to find them through mind reading? I place my fingers on my temples and make a face. We both know the reason the real reason I asked you to join my company, Ravi. Yeah, Jazz Running. What about it? Well, names are dangerous. The distinction between my legit expedition work as KNNE and the Jazz Running crew is just for that reason. We don't have to hide who we are to go out into the light. We're taking runner jobs in town. Doing work invites unsexy attention is all. Your least favorite. True. Listen, I've worked with jazz runners before, Kabir. I know the West. I thought we already had this understanding. Where do you think I get most of my tech clients? They're runners or tech punks, usually both. I know. I just want to make sure you realize what I'm asking. Having you along on KENE expeditions will be nice, but that's a secondary perk. The jazz running crew needs a tech head for jobs we got brewing, so that's what I really need. But I got to make sure this one last time you know what you're getting into. I'm aware you moonlight as a filthy thief, Kabir. This isn't new. Excuse you, I'm a dashing, near and well acquisitor by day, jazz running treasurer, hunting. Listen, I've worked with jazz runners before, Kabir. I know the West. I thought we already had this understanding. Where do you think I get most of my tech clients? They're runners or tech punks, usually both. I know. I just want to make sure you realize what I'm asking. Having you along on KENE expeditions would be nice, but that's a secondary perk. The jazz running crew needs a tech head for jobs we got brewing, so that's what I really need. But I gotta make sure this one last time you know what you're getting into. I'm aware you moonlight as a filthy thief, Kabir. That this isn't news. Excuse you, I'm a dashing, near and well inquisitor by day, jazz running treasure hunter by night. I think you can only call yourself a treasure hunter if you're taken from the dead. Our former arms, well, they're dead inside. I want my eyes, like my patience. Come on. I wouldn't have drawn up all this family drama if I wasn't serious. As far as Dad and you are concerned, I'm joining KENE. This is true. I'm just also here to be a jazz runner, which of course I won't tell them because then they'd really freak out. I exhale sharply. So yeah, I know what's what. Kabir nods. Okay, so now that we've cleared that up, why can't I get a name? Not even an alias? I just have to be delicate about naming people is all. Even aliases have power. You'll figure out who it is, I promise. He thinks for a moment. Just be discreet and listen. I squint. Do we even know what those words mean? Besides, we're literally alone on a ruined skyscraper. How much more remote do we need to be for steady talk? Much, but hey, I'm a successful businessman here. Just trust me, okay? I drop my arms and make a long-suffering sound. And I'm the tech head. There's no way anyone would be spying on us up here with sort of some kind of stealth drone. Those things exist? God preserve me. Not your financial universe. I pinch the bridge of my nose. But fine. Do you have an alias? Yes. Wait. And it is? I feel like this is the minimum I should know before meeting a mysterious contact and spilling the beans on your actual name. Please don't tell me I can know your real name and not your alias. I was close to a secretive runner once, and it was annoying the first time. It's not that. Kabir. Yeah, fine. It's Nightlight. I cough. Nightlight. Like the thing, little kids. I didn't choose it. The snow tiger swats my rear with enough force I hobbled. Hey, it's just that my eyes and a fur pattern can influence a bit, okay? It makes sense when you're out in the white at night, surrounded by jazz energies and need to blend in. I had a job once where I got noticed and the damn name stuck. How did I not know this about you? Kavir just grins. With you being on the jazz winning crew, you'll be learning plenty more about me soon enough. Forward. He crouches down in front of me and gestures for me to climb on his back. You'll be needing to think of a name too. Try to keep laughing to yourself, alright? That said, tonight's contact already knows who you are, so he got time to think on it. Is that safe? Me already being known? Trust me, you'd be hard pressed keeping it secret in this case. But you're not in any danger. Just play along with whatever they say. Think of it as a test. He points to his back again. I lift my brows. What, are you going to carry me again? I said I'd get you home quickly. Alright. I clamber onto him. I feel like the man has a back wide enough for me, well, for the two of me, which leaves an ample space for me to climb on. Nightlight. I whisper against his ear. He stands as if I weigh nothing, tapping at his bracer, and the electric surge flickers through his harness, synchronizing with the jazz lines of my jacket. A moment later, I'm energetically adhered to his back. Is the electro adhesion really necessary? I wiggle uncomfortably. Yes, because we're gonna jump. Excuse me? He tugs at his harness that makes him secure and then experimentally unseats his claws. Those things can slice through steel. It'll be faster. I've got that glider module you made me. Besides, if anything happens, you got that fancy new piece of jazz tech you used before to walk on air, right? It'll be fine. Oh, fuck. About that, wait a second. That's not how it... He suddenly takes off towards the edge of the building, leaping into empty space. I swing. Somewhere in the wind, I can hear him laughing. This guy, I swear. The air swirls as we hurtle towards a roof much further down. Hey. What? The air continues to roar past us. I gotta try that glider module now. What do you mean, try? Have you not tested it yet? I was waiting for a good time. Kavir, you gotta kill us. Nah, you wouldn't lead me on that. Nah, you wouldn't lead me on about tech, right? You always made quality. Nah, you wouldn't lead me on about tech, right? Nah, you wouldn't lead me on about tech, right? You always made... Nah, you wouldn't lead me on about tech, right? You always made quality. Just hold tight. The dumb snow tiger waves his wrist. The jazz tech bracer glowing, his yellow holographic interface crackles to life. How does this thing work again? My stomach threatens to leave my body. Kavir! With a bellowed laugh, swallowed by the wind, he taps the interface and suddenly we are jolted. Electric blues and purples flash. The jazz energies of the device flow wirelessly through Kavir's harness and sizzle a dazzling curtain into being above us, slowing our fall, but only for a moment. Wind buffets us, and suddenly the holographic curtain dissolves to pixels. What happened? The crosswinds are too strong. The snow tiger's heavy body hits the roof at an angle, and he and he rolls forward, and my entire body tremors with the impact. The air is not from my lungs. I burn my face against his shoulder and cling to him with everything I have. Hang on. Oh shit. All I feel is speed and motion. I lift my face just as Kavir hops over the roof's lip and swings through a lower broken window. The floors here are disintegrated, but that doesn't stop him. I feel the blood empty from my face as he runs straight to the edge and dives into the abyss. I want to scream, but my lungs are still empty. A lower floor whooshes past us. Then another. He opens his arms wide as we plummet. How you feeling? He yells. He has to. The whipping air is thunderous. I try to suck it in and choke. Say that for later. He braces interface, but his bracer interface flares to life again, and that familiar light flickers above us. On and off, we jolt as our momentum is suddenly arrested, and we're tossed towards a metal support bar. Claws out, Kavir launches onto it. The metal squeezes as he wakes down in its length. You're strangling me, grumbling. You need to relax. Let me show you something. With legs like coiled springs, he violently leaps. From the pillar, we sail out another broken window, and for a moment we fly. In the cold void between buildings, time and gravity disappear. I feel lighter, weightless, free. My eyes begin to sting. In that moment of clarity, I finally remember how to breathe. Is this? Kavir's voice is clear, like a bell ringing through morning fog. Freedom. Physics then come rushing back. We plummet towards the earth, Kavir's arms outstretched as if to embrace the ground. Don't worry, I also cried my first time. His laughing surrounds us. I'm not crying. I'm laughing, too. Diaphragm deep, soul-surdering sobs of laughter. Then how about you stop sobbing into my neck fur? No. The curtain again comes alive, and we angle towards a smaller building across the alley. I purposefully keep my face half shoved into Kavir's fur, shielding my wind-dried eyes and gathering my wits. Holding on feels easier now. A swing of his legs, a tap his wrist, and the curtain dissolves just as we lurch towards the wall. Kavir latches onto it with his claws, only to immediately leap from it. We repeat the same stunt a few more times. Leap, float, drop, leap, float, drop, but always only for short bursts. It smells like showing off. But maybe, yeah, woo. Maybe I simply joy. But maybe it's simply joy. He glides into the clear section of a nearby alley, protected from the crosswinds. The electric curtain fades as his paw sinks into the snow. You really enjoyed that, huh? I want my swollen eyes. Always. He taps his bracer a final time, and with a brief surge of energy, I'm released from his harness. So off, I box one of his ears. Do I at least get a kiss for it? I make an exasperated noise you rarely would be proud of, but don't actually slide off his back. If he wants to perform, he can run me home too. Take me to the club, you lug. I kiss the back of his head for the trouble. That's it. Well, good thing I get more from you later. Not you keep misbehaving. I might be in trouble then. Running in the cold is natural for Kavir. Even with me on his back, I find the rhythm of his gait meditative, the gentle bobbing against his back comforting. It gives me time to look around and simply enjoy the peace of the moment. I breathe in the cool scent of his fur as I ride. It doesn't take long for us to wind our way through the alley and wobble back to the main thoroughfare. I read some of the road signs as we go, broken and leaning in all directions but still legible. Corporate Square and Landon Avenue, to name a few. This road was called Landing Day Boulevard. Now it's just the Port Road. As we jog farther away from the city center, the buildings we pass become smaller, more stable, and less tightly spaced. Through the gaps between them, I catch glimpses of dark partnerships against a backdrop of the white's endless expanse. Maybe it's the desert heat in my blood, but I still find it surprising that topside Sam Leo's remains as active as it is. The remnants of old downtown might be nice equipped, but life along the edge of the city persists, however fragile. I look back to the road. Jazz lines in the asphalt keep it warm enough to melt the snow. Colorful lights and neon signs buzz in the waning light. We dash past groups of off-shift dock workers and ruineers hopping between bars. They mingle, but there's a clear distinction between them. The workers are weighed down in heavy, cold weather gear, but the ruineers wear the lighter and more expensive tech-warmed stuff like my own jacket. Their gear glows dimly, like candle flames, at a distance that could be easily snuffed out. I look over Kavir's shoulder. The only light on him is a glow from his bracelet. Its light traces through the air as his arm moves. I'm reminded of the last message he sent while out on expedition. This new bracelet you made is great. Interface is way better than the last model. I can't wait to have you upgrade it with that special glider doohickey you mentioned. As for here, I sent you some pictures of the dig. I wonder, well, I know my exceptional skill and talent makes the work look easy because it is, for me. He laughed. But truth telling, it's dangerous work, Ravi. We almost lost 2 men today to sifting ice, and someone broke their leg yesterday thanks to falling debris. I know I've said jazz is where I really need a tech head. But the line between life and death out here can be pretty thin, too. A kind soul with the right skill and cleverness can make a real difference. Someone like you. Just think about it. The glare of bright lights draw me from the thought. Some banged up transport hovercraft speeding past us. A bunch of Felix holocycles with jazzed up wheels follow along behind it. High end. Must be some valuable jazz tech with an escort like that, probably fresh off the boat with who knows how many ruineers harmed in its discovery. My finger grips Kavir's fur, the city's lifeblood, the museum of commerce. The only place in the world where tech can still be found like this, surrounded by people trained in its use. People like me. The thought roils my gut. You okay back there? You got all clingy for a sec. I gripped his fur a little more. Kavir, you really like being a ruineer, right? Weird question. You sure you're okay? Of course I like it. Why? Lots of reasons. It's profitable. It's exciting. You know I live for danger. That doesn't scare you at all? The danger? Now don't go getting second thoughts of me now, especially after everything you just did, Mr. Kleins without gear. This isn't about me. Well, ain't you just all sorts of off? This ain't grappling behavior at all, being so thoughtful and saccharine. I flick his ear. So you aren't scared, then? Sure am, all the time, out there. He gestures towards the right. but excitement and fear ain't so different. Listen, being a good Wolverine means embracing that feeling, the adrenaline. It's a call to action, but also a reminder that you can't always be perfectly in control. It keeps you alert, but also honest, humble. He mentioned that before. I guess he really means it. Humble, huh? Well, humble where it counts. So that dramatic leap out of the window. Sometimes it's freeing to feel a little untethered. Maybe. I certainly felt something. Well, terrorizing me aside, do you like the new upgrades? I admit that's not really how I intended you to use it, but it works. You kidding? Why do you think I want you to join the crew so bad? I already knew you had the right stuff, but when I showed the others you could fabricate a glider module, they were damn impressed. I squint. That implies you had already tested it out. Of course I did. I'm actually going to bite you. On Grumpler's back. Please do. Suddenly his demeanor changes as we approach the customs office. He dashes down a side street. I stare for a second and then glance behind us. His senses are much sharper than mine, so it's normal for me to play catch up in moments like this. There's nothing particularly special about the building itself, though there are company guards stationed outside. That's normal. However, their ceremonial suits and holographic shades mark them as Cordant's special agents. Special agents under a director who reports directly to the chairman. Soldiers working directly for the office of the chairman. I work on the hardware for some of those shades discreetly in the past. They're no joke. Multi-spectral sensors picking up and recording pretty much everything. There's also the intimidating CWS Jazz Magnums attached to their hips. Those punch through anything. Still, it isn't uncommon for them to be around when important materials or technologies are traded. I wonder if that escorted transport is related. I turn back towards Kavir. Corners guys spook you? Something going on? Nah, just being cautious. I mentioned earlier the jobs we got lined up, and I don't need them embarrassing me again. Again? I'll tell you later. It's jazz running stuff. I frown. You're not trying to get tech from the Shred, are you? Kavir nods. Kavir snorts. I'm a mercenary, not a madman. Savaging and creative liberation of goods is one thing, but high treason, he shakes his head. No adventure's worth that. I believe him. There are a lot of reasons not to get involved in that business. Even Dad stays out of it. He would know. The Cold War's why we left, after all. Safety within the enemy of your enemy. Okay. We're around the corner, and I can see the club down the street. Kavir stops to let me disembark. Yep, big as a boat. My feet touch down, and I rub his arm. I'm good from here. Hey. He crouches to eye level, resting a hand on my shoulder. Even if you weren't interested in joining, even if you weren't interested in joining the crew or going out on expeditions, you don't. Even if you weren't interested in joining the crew or going out on expeditions, you know I've always got your back, right? I tilt my head. Of course, why? I just know it's a lot. All the stuff from the day. Family can be hard. I'm here and not roaming with my folks for a lot of the same reasons. I pat my head. I'll figure it out. So will you. He grins. So we will. But one last thing. He takes a breath. I'm not blind. I know you worry about me, so listen. I need you to I need you to put that aside, because if you want to do these things with me, it can't be because you want to do them for me. The work's too dangerous for that. Trying to focus on your own safety of mind at the same time means you'll get neither. This is something you have to want for yourself. Do you understand me? I do, I promise. Alright. You know I wouldn't have asked if I didn't believe in you. He taps my earpiece again to dissolve the visit and then leans in to kiss my temple. He lingers for a minute before pulling away. If you need anything, just let me know. I clear my throat, flushing from head to toe. Well, now that you're missing it, there is this contact I'm supposed to meet. Nope. He stands back up and stretches. No cheating on this one. Figure it out. Alice. Fair enough. Now I'm gonna go before you rarely senses me somehow. I thought you were going to charm her. Already jogging away, he calls over his shoulder. I am, later. Just soften her up for me. And then he dances out of sight. I chuckle and watch him go, taking a breath to still myself before turning and walking towards the well-maintained but largely unremarkable two-storied old-world building. The only hint of its importance are multicolored mosaic lanterns dangling from the suspended cables spanning the room, but with spanning the road, and the telltale glow of neon signs. Some of them hums and splashes his name over the door. The tail spinners were spiked. My boots crunch as I ascend the familiar short flight of stairs. My fingers hover just above the access panel. Dash Club, my home. I exhale, no more avoiding it. Execute. So we're in chapter 2 now. Alright, so there's a whole lot of information to process. Let's get the main parts first, but there's some tension between Ravi and his father, because his father doesn't want him to go out of the place that Ravi's been growing up. He wants him to stay there, I guess, and maybe he doesn't think Ravi's ready yet. But anyway, Ravi is going out on his own, and apparently he has some kind of power, some special power, and it's not about story time. I don't know what story time is, but I guess it has something to do with him using technology and the abilities he has to manipulate, or at least, use these technologies, jazz technology, to form certain structures for him to land on and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but anyway. And quite frankly, one of the main reasons I decided to play this story is because the big snow tiger there. Yeah, he's like the big himbo, basically. Well, I wouldn't call him himbo, but apparently that's how people look at himbos. Big, strong, massive furries. It's kind of lighthearted. But anyway, I won't use the term himbo really, but I'm gonna say what other people are saying about characters similar to Kavir. But anyway, we meet Kavir, and it seems like they have something more than just a friendship. they may, I mean, they do kiss. So I guess maybe they're boyfriends, or maybe they're a little, kind of like between being good friends and being boyfriends, somewhere in the middle, you know. You're kind of boyfriends, but you're not, but you decide, but you decide not to make it official yet. But anyway, Gabriel wants Ravi to go with him and join his company. The his company about what I forgot what it's about. But anyway, maybe I can go look at the information. So wanted the jazz. It's mercenary parlance for employing jazz tech towards illegal or quasi-illegal purposes. Usually, anonymous clients filter jobs for jazz runners through various fixtures. Given how the mysterious nature of the jazz parallels the often mysterious nature of these clients, jazz running has become synonymous with taking great risks for great rewards. And jazz tech hardware technology animated by the jazz. So I guess jazz singers. I'm not gonna read all that, but you wanna pause the video and look at it, you can. But I guess Tavio's company deals with people looking for these kind of technology or equipment used for this kind of technology, with jazz and all that. Still trying to figure out, I don't know, maybe the creator, if he does decide to, I've gotten some people from these games who come to, thank me thank me for playing the game. So maybe if he does come on here and does the same, maybe I can ask him some questions about the jazz and get clarification more on the jazz and what it is. But anyway, it's something valuable. That's all. It's some high tech stuff that's very valuable. So, and Ravi is very skilled with the technology, and he has some special kind of power. That's basically what I get so far in this story. Yeah, it's dog barking over here. Okay. Alright, so now plenty of people will get to see in the upcoming videos. What's a woman there? What's a woman there? Not quite sure what woman there is. Yeah, it's quite a lot of information to remember, but anyway. Alright, so anyway, go ahead and stop right now, but hopefully as I continue the story, things will get clearer to me about all the information, because a whole lot of information. But anyway, I am interested in the story. I've played the story before, and I still kind of have to understand it more. But anyway, so we'll continue with String Zero next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.